The good side of consumerism is that it gives us a freedom to choose. But the bad side is that it instills the idea that we always require more. If we evaluate closely, then this idea or this freedom to choose is in reality a hoax, it is a trick. The need of the hour is to have adequate resources to address some of the global issues, and I am in quest to find an answer through this digital chapter of Hash Talks, which is themed on sustainable living and minimalism. Hi, I'm Nazneen Kachwala, and today I have with me a very special guest from the beautiful land of Ladakh, Mr. Stanzin Dorjai. Mr. Stanzin Dorjai calls himself, or proudly calls himself, Stanzin Dorjai Gaya, Gaya being the name of his village back in Ladakh. He is an internationally acclaimed award-winning filmmaker who is dedicated to make movies to tell the stories of the people living in high Himalayas. He's also the founder of Himalayan Film House in Leh, and he has produced some notable feature films and documentaries on some regional, national, and international issues. Mr. Stanzin's work and all his movies are very humble, yet very, very profound. The simplicity of this filmmaker is reflected in all his work. And without further ado, I would welcome you, sir, to this digital chapter of Hash Talks. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nadine. It is very long introductions. Thank you so much. You really, done a deep research. Somehow, so I would like to go that you say that people here that know me with my name. It is true, because the where I come from, it is little remote places that I don't not know that what I did. I wanted to know where I come from. That is my root. So that's why the people, even the people say Tanzania. So I really know my village with me also. That is where I'm grown up. So if I giving you given already the very detailed introductions, the Gya itself, I would like to give little introductions. It's Ladakh, it is part of before we were in Jammu and Kashmir. Now we are a spread state, Union Territory of Ladakh, which exists 4,000 to 5,000 meter high where we live. But then my childhood is also a little different. That's why I am deeply connected with the land, what we call the earth, So until I am 14 years old, I never exposed with this modern world, I'm a shepherd boy in the mountain. So I grown up with my animals. That's why I always giving introductions, who you have a friend, So then say I have a friend, my sheep and goats are my friends, and then yaks, and then my villagers are the mountains, and then my good friends are snow leopard, and then wolf, and then eagles, and then what I learned, that is the you see where this empty valley is, nobody around us, but that how I really deeply touched with how sometimes we think about all these places is something very, very unique when we deeply found it. So as today in this modern world, that was how everybody wanted to go to on the moon, advanced countries. For example, let's say the Russia, USA, France, whoever. And then when I sometimes think about that, the people in Ladakh were already on the moon. So the place here you see is it's a very thin air, and it's when you are here in winter around December and January, it is to take a breath, you have to take a lot of effort, So then when you are wanted to do something, And even in the summer, when you wanted to grow a trees, you have to take care like your baby, you know. That's how we are so connected with the natures, you know. That how we are so deeply with the natures, you know. So that how, so today whoever wanted to go in the moon, and then how we live in the mountain is completely different, because here is like a moon land, even though it's not like only the moon land, you know, there is so many things learned, you know. So that is what I wanted to share with you. For example, like I'm not a economist, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not a historian, but I wanted to share last so many years, you know, on this moon land, how people live here with the minimum resources, you know. That is what we are learning. Here in Ladakh, it's a very cold desert, and you have a very less water, you have a very less thin air, and your resources is very limited. But then still, you know, people are living so happily, you know, and there is the something behind all these mountains, you know. That is how I love to like wanted to what you say, like, you know, uh, sustainable living, you know, minimalization. This we have to learning from the ancient futures, you know. It's ancient, but the future is there. So
Right.
that yeah, so this place is why I appreciate, is like that what we can learn from the natures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very interesting term you have given, sir. Ancient future. That's something probably very new, and I'm hearing it for the first time. I think it's really a very nice term. Ancient future, something to be noted. So you already told me about your childhood, how you were raised as a shepherd boy in a very subtle village. Um, then what led you to become a filmmaker?
Yeah, like I till 14 years old, I never seen the televisions, you know. And then somehow I got like I did my formal schooling is also very late, you know. Then somehow I have a one school in my village, and then 15 days I'm taking care of my animals in the mountain with the sheep, goats, and yak. And 15 days I'm going to school to learn how to read and write. And then somehow after 2 3 like in 1994, I got the opportunity to come to join the alternative school. It is called the SECMOL, Student Education Culture Movement of Ladakh. And where is, you now know, like Mr. Sonam Wangchuk, who is running these institutions, you know. So where there is so many volunteers coming from all over the world, and there we can share directly, like, you know. So that time I was in 10th standard, so it was quite difficult me to pass the 10th standard examination.
Okay.
But then when I'm studying there, so always is a question in my mind, you know, like why we all are reading, because when we are going in the schools, you know, we are always learning like rain, elephant, all is fine, good. But then we don't have a rain here, you know, we have a snow
Mm,
here, you know. We have a don't have an elephant, we have a yak,
right.
we have a sheep, we have a goat. And it was quite difficult for me to connect, you know. That's why, like I said, like why, yeah, it is important to have the all the knowledge. But then some it's something not relating, you know. Then
Yeah.
somehow later meeting all these my friends in the SECMOL, and there was in 1994 5, there's a one big education campaign. Because when I still remember my childhood, and when we go to the school, you know, all the art teachers that time coming from Jammu and Kashmir, and then we are in Ladakh. So when they're coming from that time, it's not easy for them. All the teachers are coming from Srinagar, Jammu to come to Ladakh. It is a long way, you know. And then
Mm,
we have a completely two system.
mm,
Here we have not like, you know, running water toilet, you know. We have a dry compost toilet. And here we eat that sampa and other. And the language is completely different. When we go to the school, and teacher always say, why you not understand what we teaching? But that was we are there teaching in English, Hindi in Ladakh, you know, in Urdu. It was so difficult to understand us.
yeah.
Then when we go to the school, a teacher say, oh, you don't have brain, you know. And then I think we go to them and the parents say, or teacher says, as we don't have a brain, we don't want to go to school. And then when we eat, what we eat, for example, the culture, what we food here, what we wearing, and then they think your Ladakhi dress, what you wearing is also not good, But it was big confused for me. Then we start not eating our Ladakhi foods, We
Yeah.
are, because the teacher is like a god, we have to listen them, That's how sometimes uh, it is a little
Mm.
difficult for us. Then somehow, when we are in the SECMOL, they say it is completely two different world, but we have to understand the things somehow. And then suddenly I saw like we have to go to all these villages. When
Mm.
we going all these villages to speak, we have to change the medium of instruction, the education system somehow with the collaboration with the government and all these things. And then somehow when we go to the village, the first time all the villagers are coming to listen the talk. Second time we go the same there, and then they are little tired, they are not coming. So then our team thought, why we not make a audiovisual, small video, but very
Mm.
basic with the basic equipment,
Okay.
When we go in the village with the like small video, which is in Ladakhi language, you won't believe nothing. It was like instead of 100 people, there is 300 from 80 years old people to 3 years old children. Everybody comes. So I thought, wow, did I do visually so powerful, I wanted to becoming a filmmaker, That's why I was in trying to do a filmmaker, but still way to go, and I'm learning a lot. Yeah, still, yeah.
Okay, I think SECMOL school, it actually takes on to non-traditional way of teaching, but eventually that is what all of us need right now uh, to I think reconstruct and rethink the educational models, and probably that helped you through this journey, and you went and you reached out to your own people through this way, and probably it helped you to connect with your own self also through this thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So one of your movies, I would like to talk about the Shepherdess of the Glaciers, in which you have documented your own sister who lives alone at a very high altitude, only with some sheep and goat. And she has probably a radio by her side. Now, what we see in the present times is that people usually, especially the young people, they usually want to leave the village and they want to go to big cities. So when I saw the trailer of your movie, I thought that maybe you want to pass on some deeper message with in connection to this idea. So am I right, or was there something else also in your mind when you were documenting that movie?
Yeah, and I think so. Yeah, why I make this movie, I would like to give you a little. And then when we are living with this culture, we didn't realize how this culture is so important, And that's why in 2015, one of my movie, it called Jungwa, The Broken Balance. In 2015, there is a COP21 in Paris. So the Jungwa was selected for this COP21, where 40,000 guests from all over the world, 195 prime minister and president is in there, So my movie was there. So somehow then what it happened later, so my producers and my co-director, Christian, and everybody were happy.
Mm.
And then they told me that time I'm living in Lyon. So I have to travel from Paris to Lyon. And then when I travel, I always travel with what I afford, So I go with the local trains and like that. And that time my producer told me and my co-director says, Stanzin, the movie is wonderful. Everybody start liking very much. Why not going in a first class TGV trains, So I think for me, everything is first class. Is the Western European countries is like they are living in such a luxury. I don't need that because I don't have a habit. But they say, no, Sanjay, you must have this experience also. They put me in a TGV tent. And suddenly when I was in a 10 in a TGV, and then it's a full luxury. And then within a few minutes, there is a three beautiful lady came in my cabins, So coming from here, so it was like 2 hour journey fast train. And suddenly when I look at them, they're super beautiful. And then when I look at them, and they have a full makeup and full of lots of jewelries on there, so I said wow, and then I was quite shy to look at them, and I was just running my hands in here and there. And then I think, why you are shy? And then say, where are you coming from? Then I say, I'm from India. But then they told me, you not look like India. Then I say, India is bigger than France. India has a south, north, west. It's a big countries. And then say, I'm coming from Ladakh. Oh, you are from Ladakh, They already know about Ladakh, how we live here with minimal resources, but very happily.
Yes.
And then suddenly, when they start speaking with us, my body was little shivering, I said, wow, what a luxury we live here, We are having a red wine here, and I look at their jewelry. There is almost let's say a few thousands, almost lakhs on their body, And my sister is living in 4,000-meter high in the mountain, Even she don't know what is 10,000 rupees, but she lives so happily and she don't need anything there, What is a two different life, And then one lady, we start sharing our conversation, what are you doing here, And then I talk about my sister, and she told me what? She told me, Stanzin, I have the best luxury bedroom, best luxury car, and I travel all over the world. And what you told me about your sister, it was maybe she is the one happiest woman in the world on the mountain, even not seen all this, I have everything, but comfortness is not end,
Yes.
So then I thought, wow, I wanted to show this story to the world, So I came back to India and then Ladakh. Then I went with my horse to travel to. Yes. I asked to my sister, we wanted to make a movie on you, and she thought that I'm making a Bollywood movie, dancing movie. She said, no, something like this. And that how sometimes what I wanted to share you is when we are living with that culture still existing, we didn't realize after it lost it, That's why I thought before losing this culture, if you make a documentation or if you make a documentary, that is how the movie comes. And even I can't express you now, who she is, And she is even now she is 53 years old, She never ever been in the hospital, Her health was completely incredibly fine, Even she is only, let's say, 45 kg only, but she can carry almost 50, 60 kg like this, And she know everything. It's a full of living dictionary, And what is a plant in the mountain? And when one sheep and goats got the problems, And she know everything living it there, She never ever been in the school. And that's why I call she is a doctor, she is a meteorologist, she is an economist, and she is incredibly understand everything, but she's always quiet, listening the lesson, and even how she's close with the nature. And she's using only few things, I seen one what called pot, which was more than let's say 7-8 years she's using the same thing, Then I say she is not happy, but she is the happiest, and her health was healthiest, And then sometimes we think about that, what we need more than that, And that's why I always think don't lose our indigenous and traditional culture that way, That's why this movie is quite important in terms of presenting the indigenous knowledges.
Yes, it is definitely. So I have not seen the movie, unfortunately, but I have only seen the trailer of a few minutes, and I was just I was just awestruck. It was amazing. And I'm very sure, I don't know what the impact the movie would have on me if this small trailer had such a big impact. So I'm looking forward to see that movie. And I hope that more people watch that movie and learn from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
So, in your village, you are also running a program. It is called Live in the Village and Not Leave the Village. So,
Yes.
how do you pursue this program, and what has been the impact of running this program in your village?
Yeah. So this program is living in the village, not left the village. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is how, like, it is sometimes very we can't say to the people you must leave, because we can't
Mm,
stop the development. Development is also important. Sometimes the running water in the house is very important,
yes.
not to go to take the water for 1-2 kilometers to carrying and coming for one, like 20 liters of water. It is quite difficult,
Mm,
and then living in the village, that program is how it comes from last many year, which is I'm trying right now. But it is not need to trying, but it is already there. So
yes.
for what we have, one is not to people to realize, it is, for example, there's an amazing system in the village. For example, just take one example for the diet toilets,
Mm,
this is what the diet toilet we have here. It is what everything come from the earth, it goes back to on the earth, there is such a mechanism which was more than last many centuries using there without any affecting the environment, so
okay.
that sort of systems are very important, which is existing now. So then, like, for example, sometime, yes, if I don't have this flashed already, I have also, because sometimes when we go in the washroom, so it is when we put the one button, so that, like, always I felt it, okay, like 6 liters of water, one go it used, it is so
Yeah.
waste, because
Mm,
here is water is so precious, even for 1 liter water, you have to, in the past, you have to wash your hand, you have to wash your mouth and everything, but still you are clean, and then
mm,
people are always saying, oh, you are not washing every day in Ladakh, but it don't require, it don't need it, because we don't have a moisture what you have in Hyderabad
yeah.
and Delhi and other Bombay, here here air is so dry clean, you don't need to wash every day,
Mm,
and those sort of so many, like, it is not fashionable, but it is so useful systems in the village, that's
mm,
why we're always thinking to know, okay, you go for work ever, but not to migrate to the place like Delhi, Bombay, and Leh. But you might have places to live in Leh also, but come back to on your earth, on your root, So
mm,
that's why, since uh, my sister also told me that, when she got a sort of opportunities, that how we say living in the village, not
mm,
live in the village, mean somehow with the Shepherdess of the Glaciers, it won like many awards all over the world. Then I always had a feeling, when my sister will see the Europe, that is the biggest award for me. And
yes.
because that what my villagers and what my sister seen other world, then there is the happiest for me. And
Mm,
then in 2017, somehow my sister, Tsering, the shepherdess, she's agreed to come with me in Europe,
okay.
and I was super happy. And then she came in in the European countries, in France. She stayed 2 months, and what she observed, because we were in big festival called Autumn
Yeah.
International Film Festival, where we won like 5 like award and like that. And after staying in the city, she told me, Sanjin, there is some village where shepherds and the shepherds who are living in the European countries also, saying, why not my sister, I would like to take you in the Pyrenees, in the Alps, in the mountains,
Yes.
so my other friends, we took in the mountain, and there when she all the shepherds,
Mm,
and she said, like, wow, this is the what I'm doing in Ladakh, their shepherds are like, really living, so many educated people are going back to,
mm,
like, the earth, going back to the shepherds, and she really realized my work is so important. So
Yes.
after that, she see what I was telling you in the previous everything, and we came back to Leh after 2 months. I was little afraid now. Now my sister also seen the luxury bedroom in city life, and she will say she will not go back to in the mountain.
Yeah.
And then Nazin, what she told me, Stanzin, after 5 days staying here in Calamitized, and I wanted to go back to in the mountain, and I wanted to die in the mountain, because what we using the resources, it is the right time. But Stanzin, can you do something for me? And I think, what? My sister, what should I can do for you? And she's saying, please educate the villager. The shepherd's work is also important. And then living in the village is also important. And then I think how you want and what we do. This is all hard program. I'm just assistant.
Yes.
And then she was saying like, living in the all this valley in the winter, not in the village. It is so difficult living in the tent, but can you make a shepherd house? All this valley, And I think how we make the shepherd house on this, And she was saying, we have a sheep and yagul, and we make a socks. All the women will come, they make a socks, and then when I have a conference, I sell these socks. And then now they have a all small shepherd solar house in this valley, Then like they feel also very comfortable now. Otherwise, what did happen? Always we think live in the village, live in the village, not left the village. And we say we not do the facility, it is also difficult. And because of her little effort, the movie were able to construct in few 12, 13 houses, shepherd houses there, people are coming back and they are really enjoying now. Importance are their understanding. And then all the women are like, we trying to, like most of women are trying to always go in the, break the stone on the roads and all these. And that is no wrong in that, because what you I don't know you've been in Ladakh or not, but, the knowledge is what our ancestors given to them, that are also disappearing. So coming back in the village, everything reviving now, that is still where time, but I hope one day you will see it, with flourishing, and that will be the happiest day, but still now is the program. Still so many things are going on, and people are start liking, more youths are coming back, and this is what the program is going on in the living in the village. Yeah.
Right, sir. Like as you mentioned right now, that there are a lot of resources in Ladakh, clean energy resources in Ladakh, which individuals like you and even independent institutions are trying to work upon and use these energy sources in their daily lives. My question is that, sir, how can the authorities contribute to building up or tapping onto these naturally available resources? What is your ask from the authorities?
Yeah, there is so many new initiatives is going on. For example, even without I'm knowing all these things, I have another house in Leh also, So that was I'm the most regretting. Why I'm regretting, living in, let's say like in 3,400 meter high, and the winter goes, it's like minus 20 to 23, and then we are always copying, what the people in the down, the city in the down, all the houses are constructing here is in the concrete house, But in the summer, it's fine, it is a concrete houses, but then when winter comes, it is the one of the painful houses, you won't believe how these houses are so cold. But that how, for example, like many different NGOs, government are initiating, now we are going to solar passive houses, This is what, where I'm starting, it is called the SECMOL, Student Education Culture Movement they are like even minus 20. You will live with the +9 or +10 inside very comfortably. And all these material are local uses, This is how now always we felt it, what mistakes we done is we are realizing, but still it's not too late, that how the resources what we have is one thing is the sun, sun is a gold, we always realize that the sun can be a the what fuel we have, like petrol and diesels, and what we have, the sun is the most precious thing the God gifted to us, but that is one of the very important. That is also slowly so many private houses and so many institutions are now taking initiative, but still our minded, we are so selfish, humans are like, including me also, we all, always we want everything fast, we wanted to get everything we want finished within hours, within days, within month, but same thing, that what the resource, everything we use too quickly, everything, but that what in the village, what in the city, what happening now, when we have a harvesting, when we have a plugging, when we have a thrashing, it's a full of festival, it's a full of mental sources, the resources what we sharing, and then now last more than 1 decades, we when we finish all this thrashing and plugging everything within 1 month, where we can, our children are learning so many things. Now everything wanted to finish in 1-2 days. But then sometimes I felt it, we're saving this time for whom, what we do this time. So that's why the resources are incredible, but still exploring in the stage. But I hope with the new government, so that also help, that also think the development will come, but sometimes this development not destroy everything. So we hope that what we used to have all these resources, and that and on the other hand, even like myself right now, during the COVID-19, I tried to grow all the vegetable, whatever level here. I'm trying to grow all these vegetable. There is so many resources here, even what we in the beginning we are speaking, the ancient futures, learning from the Ladakh, so that things are that authority, that administration will consider this, no, what you are practicing is bullshit, forget, just go modernity like this, it will the end of Ladakh then. There is no hope. So I hope what we are practicing, respect that way if we go. And then what metro city, even you been in all over many countries, they are regretting even you go in so many big city, and they can't now change, place like Ladakh is now starting. We can change it, and then we wanted to live not by chance. We wanted to live by not by chance, by choice. So this is, I think, that using all these resources, very wisdom way. If you think all these things, it can be Ladakh can be an example for all over the world again. That is what I can say now.
Right. Sir, I'll go back to your movie Jungwa that basically talks about the flash floods which happened in Ladakh in August 2010, if I'm not wrong. So, sir, in one of your interviews, I heard you say that sometimes the people of your village or people in Ladakh lack the knowledge to understand that these are man-made activities. They often think that maybe this is due to their karma or something, but then your movie is trying to make an effort to show them the other side, or let's say the real side of it, actually why these things happen. I just want to know, how did your local community react to your work?
Yeah. Exactly, Rajan. This was when I was shooting this movie in 2010. And 2010 is like a nightmare for whole Ladakh, I still remember 2010, 5th August. It is like 12 in the night, middle of the night. I heard a big noise, When we are staying in the border of Pakistan and China, we used to heard about the big aeroplane is landing always, I always thought that is again a plane, When I took cotton, just look outside. It was raining. It was
Mm.
not plain. It was a thunder, And we, the people in Ladakh, are used to stay with the snow, not with the
Rains.
not with the rain. And you won't believe last 30 decades, 1 degree of increase in the temperatures, 1 degree increasing in the temperature, it is so many changes. But when people thinking 1 degree is nothing, but 1 degree can change anything,
Yes. Yes.
And that night I remember, so many parents lost children, so many children lost their parents, and so many animals are on the mud. And I still remember those words, please help, help, I'm in the mud, Nobody know why this flood is coming, That is the what we call the man-made disaster, These climate changes we are not contributed, because in being in Ladakh, as we already spoke, how we close with the nature, but these are the coming from the all over the world, But this is when climate change take place, it not look for rich and poor people, It's not look for the
Mm.
color. It one day have to face all, And
Mm.
then what exactly it happened, while we making this movie, it was quite challenging. When each time if I go to the village and after this flood doing the interview, I asked to the people, why you think this flash flood, And most
Mm.
of the people here in Ladakh, they say, oh, it is because of our karma, We done think something wrong in our previous life, but it is now what we have to face in the present life, But I say, no, we have to understanding now, It is not, but it's very difficult. They are so believe in that, but I don't want to, because the believing, the personal believing, whatever like we have here, like here, I don't want to say that I'm not a like
Yes.
Buddhism expert in the Islam expert in Hinduism, whatever, But I'm a just simple filmmaker. I wanted to bring the true story. But then when I'm asking, if I say no, it is also a difficult. If yes, it is more difficult. It is always dilemma in the mind, what I should
Mm.
do.
Mm.
And then somehow I say, no, I don't want to stop this now, If I not bring this story, tomorrow this will becoming only a nightmare, So people will just sort of a dream and they will forget it. Then I say, it is my decision. I wanted to make a movie and I wanted to show the world, This is what in the Himalaya we are facing problem of changing of climate,
Yeah.
And before making this movie, you also other very interesting movie, this All Gourmet, so the Inconvenient Truth and other movie I watched
Mm.
many times, Then I wanted to bring this movie most like a witness, how the farmers, how the shepherds, how the people living in the Himalayas are facing the problems. So
Mm.
this is how the challenging, but finally this movie was I can't show also for 2-3 years because they have lots of memories in this, bad
Mm.
memories, good memories. But now people are really understanding. Oh, in 2010 flat movie was you made interesting. We are realizing what you
Yes.
mean that. Yeah. So this is what Nathan, yeah.
Right, sir. So right now we talked all in context of Ladakh. This shall be my last question to you. How do you think minimalism can shape the face of the world?
We have to learn, to be how to live simply.
Yeah.
So we are too greedy as a human, really like even if myself, if I can't afford, I can afford, I can live like other part of the world, But then if we are individual responsibilities, because I can like buy a fruits which is coming from Netherlands, which is coming from Paris, coming from Bombay, but then how much it costs, It's not
Mm.
only cost for what we eating, how much we
Yes.
polluting, bringing from such a far to here, And that's why, like, I always, it is sometimes I feel also we speak always green, till
Mm.
when we are not practicing, it will be not effect.
Yeah.
And same thing, like, because today I'm inside the house, otherwise I don't always I wanted, because I have a Ladakhi dress, culture dress, so because somehow today I'm inside the house, otherwise I wanted to get that example, whenever, wherever I go, I always put that dress. Why I put that dress, it is one thing is it is made by the Yakul, and second thing is who made for this for me, it is made by my mother. Because now I don't have my mother, but then I always feel that my mother laugh on it, because this is made by her hand. Where I go, then I give an example, this is, we know that everybody can make a beautiful cloth, and it is more useful than other, So that's how the minimalism is the key, Otherwise, so many consumptions, because how much, like even a one chocolate, how many layer of plastic you don't eat, So now it is time to not to awareness, Now it's time to a practice, When we not practice individually, and what other people say, we are always like a monkey, We try to be copy, It will never give a satisfaction, We have to think our mind, we have to listen our hearts, So who you are, what your neighbor, what your other country, what your others say, don't listen that for myself, I listen myself what I'm doing, how much they give to me, how much I wanted to give back to, And as like, everything we are eating, we are not lefting anything for the next generations,
Yes.
Today we are happy. I don't know other places. Why I always realizing that, Nazin, because I'm so always thankful to my grandparents, my parents, and my ancestors, because they left for us something good. So that's why we have to live for something for them, This is the only sustainable living minimalism, This is the only way.
Yeah.
That is what I always felt it,
Thank you, sir. That was, I have so many takeaways from this talk, so many insights about Ladakh, its people, and of course, your idea of pursuing and practicing minimalism. And not only practicing, but you're also putting an effort to spread a word about it and making other people practice it. So I had a wonderful time talking to you on this subject, sir. And thanks a lot for connecting with me to discuss on this theme.
Thank you, Nadam. So what you are doing, it is something what our voice are reaching to millions of people, So this is how we are efforts, The like-minded, we started like this, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. It was lovely talking with you. And then before I was talking to you, I gone through your website and everything. What you do is another way of doing it is incredible. Yeah. So with all this, I really thank you all also. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.